I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
2019 Chevrolet Corvette
Z06 without official launch control. Ready?
So that launch did nothing.
No, wheel spin for days. So this thing is obviously ridiculously fast and loud.
Okay, this one's supercharged. What's the horsepower and torque?
650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque from a 6.2 liter supercharged V8.
And the difference with this compared to the Hellcat, this doesn't go whee.
No, you can't hear the supercharger pretty much at all.
So this is obviously the last of the front engine Corvettes.
Yeah, so we want to find out what this feels like compared to the new mid-engine one coming out, and if that's really necessary.
And since they're switching over to mid-engine like a bunch of supercars, we should probably try the supercar checklist on this.
Yeah, just to make sure that this one is actual supercar.
And maybe the next one will be a supercar.
Yeah, okay.
Is it fast?
Yeah.
And I guess that also answered if it's loud.
Yeah, it's very loud.
One more time.
Oh, crap.
You're scaring me. You're scaring me. You're breaking the car.
I'm not breaking anything, except traction.
That YouTube video. Samir, you're breaking the car.
Oh, that. Well, I'm not rallying. Why would I remember that for this? Anyways.
Does it get a lot of attention?
Yes, this is bright yellow.
Yeah, the best color for a Corvette.
It's also really loud, like we just said. Do the doors go up?
They do not.
Fail.
But do you look cool getting in and out of it?
Not really.
I'd say medium.
I'm gonna give that a fail.
I say medium.
We need standards, Yuri. Doors that go up, you look cool.
Can you fit a box in it?
Let's find out. 2 boxes. CF Drive Co's lid on Nemesis Autosport's box, Kevsky Pops' lid on 6 Set Toronto's box, and Emmett's lid. Supercar, fail.
Supercar fail.
Yeah, total fail, because we fit 2 boxes.
Does it pass the visor test?
Oh, let's find out. Oh, God. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow.
Oh,
that's a fail.
Supercar
Fail and a half.
Does it fit a cup of coffee? Such a fail.
Like a glove.
And does it have a gimmicky steering wheel?
Kind of.
It has yellow paddles. I don't think I've ever seen color matched paddles on a car yet.
And we haven't addressed the main issue. If this was a manual, which it's not, it would actually still have paddles. So yes, this is definitely a gimmicky steering wheel.
And then should we add, is the engine in the right spot to the test, or can we have front engine supercars?
I think we can have front engine supercars.
Okay, so.
However, I think this is a fail. This is not a supercar.
I think so too.
This is a damn good car, just not a supercar.
No, not quite there.
All right.
So now can you explain to me why you're wearing cutoff jeans?
Well, because I'm a Corvette guy.
Is that why your Corvette shirt's tucked into your jeans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of always a Corvette guy. I got my Hawaiian shirt, my fanny pack, my ball cap, my white shoes.
I think I'm a little bit more Corvette guy today than you are.
Yeah, because I don't have tall socks. That's the least Corvette thing I am. You think Prowler guys are kind of also Corvette guys?
Kind of, yeah.
It's like a side little
yeah,
switch over.
But the Corvette guys don't want to be like Prowler guys because they're like, oh, I'm faster than you guys.
But the Prowler guys are cooler looking.
But they all listen to the same 50s music, and
Yeah.
they all sit behind their car in their lawn chairs just with their signs and plaques about their cars and stuff. So kind of the same crowd. Yeah, it's a Z06. 6 figures.
Nice. So what do you want to get into now?
You know what I want to get into. Okay, so this is stupid fast.
Does that mean exhaust or power?
Everything.
Okay.
It's stupid fast. Absolutely insane. So out of curiosity, I looked up the power to weight ratio for this versus the Hellcat Red Eye, and it's pretty much the same thing. But this feels so different.
This feels like you're going to die at any moment.
Yeah, like the Hellcat kind of feels like that, but it has so much extra weight that it also doesn't feel like you're gonna die all the time.
And I think partly because the transmission is so amazing in the Hellcat.
Yeah, we should address that right off the bat.
Red Eye at least. Okay, so start with transmission.
So this is an automatic 8-speed. It is not a ZF. It sucks. Just straight up, it sucks.
I don't think it knows what it's doing. There's no communication between the transmission, the ESC, and the engine.
Exactly. So this transmission almost totally ruins this car for me. However, you can get this in manual.
So we've driven a manual Z06 Corvette on the track at Ron Fellows Driving School at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and it was amazing.
It was straight up amazing.
Like, I was scared the whole time, and then he took us for hot laps, and we went so much faster. So like the grip levels didn't make any sense in my head.
Yeah, like we thought we were at the limits of the car already, and then he took us for a couple laps, and we were like way past any limit I thought was possible.
But then we did notice we still had paddles, but the paddles were for turning on and off auto rev matching.
Yeah, exactly. So if you do get the manual, which you definitely should, you still have paddles.
Yeah, it was weird.
But anyways, that car handled incredibly well at Mosport. However, it was kind of deadly feeling. A 911 gives you so much confidence. You could just push that thing nonstop. This, I feel like I'm gonna die at any second.
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
I mean, I like it, but I would like to like dial into it. Maybe start at a base Corvette.
Yeah.
Like, then work up to the Z06 and then maybe the ZR1.
Oh my God, yeah, because by the way, there's still a ZR1 above this with 755 horsepower.
So that one would technically require a sweep on Cliche Corner.
That one would. This one does not, although I kind of want to sweep it, but I don't think I will.
I think an honorary sweep because of how scared we are.
All right, I guess.
But do you get any enjoyment out of using the paddles?
Some, but only pretty much on downshifts.
I got pretty used to it. Like you click the button and you gotta wait, and then it's in gear, and it's like a long click, but you don't actually have to click it all the way. If you just click just enough, it'll still shift. Look.
You still have to wait though.
My luck. Now give a little half click.
Yeah, I know, but you still have to wait.
It's no ZF.
No, exactly. There's so much lag. Like this does feel like it came out in 2013-14 because that's when this generation started.
But it's kind of cool that they're forcing you into a manual, especially considering the C8 mid-engine Corvette does not have a manual option, and it's not going to get one.
Very true. This is going to hold its value, I think, in manual. And so let's send it into Cliche Corner very carefully because honestly, this is straight up insane. Here we go. You can't put your foot down 100%. Like you just can't.
So that's full traction on and in track mode.
Exactly. And we do have so many different traction control modes.
Yeah, so what you do is if you click traction once, I think it just turns off normal traction going forward or defaults to wet. But if you click it twice, nice and slowly, then you get your modes: wet, dry, Sport 1, Sport 2, and Race.
Yeah, so I would never dare to put this thing in race. I don't even want to turn it off. This is insane.
And
on
then,
the track, sure, but not here.
And then I think if you hold it and then hold it again, then you probably turn everything off.
Yeah, and I feel like it would be a real off.
Yeah.
Like not like a Mercedes off.
We haven't had a chance to mess with all the traction controls in the Corvette because we need like a private track, a ton of tires to just burn through everything and see how it drifts.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can't test this on public roads because this is basically a race car. Like I hate saying that this is a race car, but it really is.
But I would just like to point out that if you're driving in track with traction control on, you're not a wuss. You're just being normal. That's still scary as it is.
Yeah, I get it. Spending 6 figures on a car and then turning everything off and pretty much not having insurance on a racetrack, like that's a bit psychotic. But let's talk about the suspension. So it is adaptive. We have GM's magnetic ride control, and honestly in track, it's still dailyable.
This thing's very dailyable. That's what I'm most shocked at. Like the least dailyable part is how much power they give you.
Yes, exactly. That, and honestly the seats for me. The seats are kind of uncomfortable.
They'd probably be really good on a racetrack though.
Exactly.
And I guess speaking of racetrack, you think you have enough headroom in here with the helmet?
Oh, for sure. And if I didn't, take the top off.
So it's a Targa top. That's pretty cool. And here's how you put it away.
And it is all carbon fiber. It was a little bit difficult to do, but not that bad for one person.
I like how there's a dedicated spot for it to like not move around. You know how old convertibles would have like a glass bag and then you had to strap it to the corners?
Yeah, and the C8 will also have a removable roof because that's become a Corvette staple. But back to handling quickly, pretty much no body roll, feels dead flat.
Yeah, but it also feels like it's always gonna spin out on you.
Yes, I always feel like I'm gonna die.
And for those of you who don't know, this is rear wheel drive. It is not all wheel drive.
Yeah, and we got fat tires up in the back, 335s, they're huge.
And then what is the Continental recommended tire for the Z06 Corvette?
The Extreme Contact Sport. And the steering feels great. It almost feels hydraulic. I know it's not, but it's got the right amount of weight to it, and it also changes between all the drive modes.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely perfect, and it's so snappy.
It is, it really is.
And seeing that big hood in front of you, it's like you're steering a boat or something.
Yeah, and the fenders, like I love seeing everything in front of me. As much as I want to keep driving this and hammering the throttle, I'm gonna let you drive now.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff I want to talk about in this car.
Like the exhaust.
So I'm gonna make sure it's on track by going to the engine sound management, and I'm gonna punch it.
Go for it. That sounds so good.
You really hear it at the top end.
And it sounds violent, like straight up violent.
It's very menacing.
But the problem is you can't really hear that in the first 10 to 20%. After that, when you floor it, you go past 50, that's when you hear it. But there's pretty much no room to use that ever, almost.
But what I think is really cool is there's a stealth exhaust mode. So if we click that, it pretty much goes silent.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy silent.
And I'm gonna go fast.
Floor it though.
If you floor it, it kicks in.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
But if you don't floor it, you can go pretty quick and just. And what I think is really cool is you can actually hear the supercharger in stealth mode from in the car. Listen
You actually can.
Ready?
It's so faint, but it's there.
All right, back to auto. Do you think this exhaust sound is better than the Hellcats?
The exhaust sound, yes.
Yes. Overall, no. Because the supercharger is the coolest part of the Hellcat.
Exactly.
Totally agree. So I'm going to give an honorary send through Cliche Corner in the vet before we talk about all the infotainments and other fun stuff.
Which traction are you going to use?
Let's go traction 1.
Okay, that's the one I used.
And coming through the corner, just a little bit of throttle because I'm scared.
Yeah, you can't put your foot down all the way.
You know how in video games you floor it and you spin out when you turn everything off? You're like, this is so unrealistic.
Yeah, and then you got to press start and restart.
It's because they're basing it off how Corvettes drive.
Yeah, exactly.
This
There's
is
no start, restart here.
Yeah, if you floor it on a turn, you spin. This is what a simulator is meant to simulate.
That's true.
And in video games, you can replay your laps. So this has an SD card slot, so you can record your laps and stuff from your performance data recorder.
Yeah, it's actually super cool. So here's a little clip of Cliche Corner.
So the way it works is you can choose a couple different modes for overlays. No overlay, sport, track, and performance timing. So it'll display different things. No overlay, obviously nothing. Sport and track have more gauges, then performance timing will record your 0 to 100, 0 to 200, and all that kind of fun stuff.
That's a really cool feature, and the McLaren 720S that we drove had something similar, but we weren't able to test it.
Yeah, and GM has had that in Cadillacs for a while. Not many other companies have that. That's one of the few things that GM did right forever ago and nobody caught up.
And how's the resolution on that?
Oh, garbage. But like, you get it. You know what I mean? It records, you have it. This isn't to like, use in an episode of Top Gear. This is just for you to know so you can become faster, and you can replay it in the car while you're stopped so you can learn stuff right away.
And on that resolution point, we should probably talk about the reverse camera and the front camera and the side cameras.
Yeah, so the front camera like errors out with like black stuff.
Yeah, so the first day I had this, it already broke on me.
And then when I put it into reverse, it went to the blue screen of death. Then I reset it, and then the front kind of fixed itself, but then went back to that. Like, I don't really know what they're doing.
So the right half of the cameras just don't work right now.
Yeah, so you've got 2 cameras in the bumpers up front, but your screen recording goes off the camera up here.
Yeah, so that still works, so that's great.
It's really nice though, because you can see the fenders and everything.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing about the recorder is you have to use an old crappy SD card.
Like a class 2 or something?
Yeah, or if you use something like fast and new, it's like, not red.
Yeah, what is this?
Put an SD card in there.
And this does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which are this infotainment's most redeeming features, which totally saves it, and it's now usable.
Yeah, because the touchscreen is actually hard to use. It's like old school touchscreen where you gotta like...
I think it's resistive, where every screen in the last like 5-10 years has been capacitive.
Well, this is the only screen that I've used that has a calibrate screen option. Like, when you're at the airport and you click and the mouse is like down at the bottom left, you're like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or on the airplane.
Airplanes, the old Boeings and stuff.
So on your Google Maps, can you pinch to zoom?
Yes, you can. It's really difficult. I swear I could before, but I guess I lied about that, and you can't. And then we have these hard buttons down here, this menu knob, which I keep turning every time I go to my favorites by accident.
Luxury car, it's a scroll wheel.
Yeah,
nope,
well.
Actually, this is changing presets now. Okay, it's a lot of weird stuff.
It is.
But a lot of hard buttons, probably pretty easy to use for someone who's a little older.
Yeah, and we got heated and cooled seats, hard buttons for climate. It's actually pretty usable.
And then we've also got the screen that's also a hidden compartment.
Yeah, so if you want to hide your stuff back there.
Your blue pills. Didn't we already make this joke like 3 years ago?
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah. Your blue pills.
Okay, man, we're recycling jokes. And below that, we've got a badge that tells us how much power we have in our 650 horsepower, 650 torque. I like that.
I like that a lot, too.
It makes your life a lot easier when you got to spit out these stats.
Yeah, exactly.
So now to the gauges. We've got a digital display in the middle. We've got an analog speed on the left, which no one's going to use. And then we've got analog gas and supercharger pressure on the right.
Yeah, I love seeing the analog gauges. However, the digital ones are kind of laggy and kind of annoying, but also cool. And I kind of respect what they tried to do with them.
Okay, so when you start the car, if you rev it, the tach doesn't move. It doesn't load up quick enough.
Yeah, and this car also doesn't really let you rev out and park or anything like that.
Yeah, which kind of sucks. Like, I feel like that's the most Corvette thing to do.
Exactly.
And then when when you switch the modes using this very easy mode selector with the traction control built into the middle.
I love it.
It's actually kind of laggy between modes too.
Yes, it is.
Like, come on. But you can get a lot of cool stats by going down on the steering wheel button.
And then we also have a head-up display if you want to look at it just above your gigantic hood.
But the head-up display totally redeems everything weird with the gauges and is better than every other car because it's got hard buttons. Turn up my brightness. There it is. I can move it up or down. And if I click info, I can change what's in the middle. And then I've also got my amazing shift lights. So if I put it into manual, make sure it's in track, click down on the paddles. When I floor it, I'll get the little bubbles that show up. And I know when to shift.
And we got tons of carbon fiber in here. It looks amazing.
Yeah, like almost too much carbon fiber, but also a lot of Alcantara, and I love the yellow stitching.
Too much carbon fiber, Yuri?
I'm not a carbon fiber guy.
Excuse me?
It's not my thing.
Excuse me? I love carbon fiber.
I know. It's not my thing. I prefer yellow plastic all along the gauge cluster, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Prowler. We got yellow stitching everywhere. We got Alcantara. We got nice leather. This is actually a really nice interior.
Yeah, even this like brushed aluminum stuff is really nice.
There's a bit of cheapness here and there, some hard plastics, but they're improving that in the C8.
And Corvettes aren't really that expensive, so it's very forgivable.
You're really buying this for the engine and performance.
Okay, and then the steering wheel feels amazing in my hands. It's flat bottom.
And the seats are super well bolstered. The seats are overall comfortable, but just not for long trips.
And you've got very easy adjustments on the side. We've got a square start-stop button, which is super weird.
Yeah, I actually hit the radio on button to start this car once, and it didn't work.
Overall, what do you think of this interior? It's actually pretty high quality.
I think the driving position is great, and the driver's seat is the one that you want to be in, because this is super cramped on this side because it's geared for the driver.
So I guess let's end it off with the looks before we get to the price.
Okay, it looks crazy. I love it.
It's a Corvette.
It's still a Corvette. It's been out for years. I love it.
My wife was like, you have this car, you need to take me for a drive. And I'm like, you care about a Corvette? Of all the cars I've brought.
It's a bright yellow car that looks crazy.
I just don't expect it.
No, I took my wife for a ride. She loved it too. Like, it still has this character that people like.
So let's start with the front.
The hood is huge and we got a bunch of slots in it.
And it opens reverse style.
Obviously, because it's a Corvette.
Headlights are cool LEDs. How about the wheels?
The wheels are amazing. They look so good. They fit the car so well.
Do you like chrome wheels more on a Corvette?
Well, as a Corvette owner.
You're dressed like you want some chrome wheels.
Oh, I would love some chromies on this. But no, I think these ones, as a non-Corvette owner, look way better.
So now let's get to the back end and talk about the coolest part, that spoiler.
The back end is my favorite part because of that spoiler and because of the quad exhaust.
I think like the spoiler is only higher on the side so you can see better out the back window partly.
It has to be. But like I said, my favorite part has to be the 4 exhaust tips sticking out. Like, that's crazy.
The funniest part is the 2 on the outside have the most like soot on it.
Yeah, because those are the ones that most of the exhaust goes through.
Yeah, but I love the quad exhaust. The only thing I don't love is you can see the muffler right through it.
Yeah, they should have just painted that black. I get it.
I really like how the taillights were circle on the C6 Corvette. I don't like these as much, and I really don't like how they look on the C8 Corvette.
Yeah, they had to go to these because the circles would date the car.
Yeah, these suit this car, but the C8 Corvette, it looks too much like a new Camaro for the taillights for me.
Yeah, I could see that from the back end.
And I guess that's pretty much it for the looks. We love the C7 Corvette, right?
Absolutely.
Price.
Lots of money, obviously.
Good.
Starts at $93,795.
Canadian.
This one, with a bunch of carbon fiber, a bunch of options, is $124,300.
That's pretty good for the amount of speed you get in general.
It is, but that's a lot of money, and I think if you get the Z06 as the base, that's the best value you can get.
Just don't get a bunch of carbon fiber.
Exactly. Unfortunately, as much as I love carbon fiber, it's just so expensive.
So you'd obviously get this in a manual.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, would you get a Z06 Corvette automatic or a Hellcat Red Eye?
Hellcat Red Eye, automatic.
Automatic Hellcat Red Eye or a manual Corvette Z06?
I would have to think about it.
I'd go manual Corvette Z06.
I might as well.
And then how about the Z06 in manual versus the wide body Hellcat manual that we drove earlier this year?
I still think I would have to go with the Corvette because I would want to take this to the track.
I think so too. I think I'd want to be hardcore.
I love that Hellcat, and if I wasn't going to the track, I would 100% take the Hellcat.
It's just something about a Corvette, you know what I mean?
Well, this is such a performance car that it would be insane on the track, and you actually have to know how to drive this. There's no like nannies if you turn them off.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to drive this car at its limit, and that would be so much fun.
Having this car as your own car forces you to become a better driver, and that's kind of where I want to be in my life.
Exactly. Now here begs my question, is this or the Grand Sport?
So tell me about the Grand Sport.
The Grand Sport is basically all the cool bits of this minus the engine. And you save a lot of money.
So you don't go as fast, but you still have all the performance.
Exactly. Like all the suspension and all the good stuff.
This car might be a little too much car for me.
It's a lot of car for a lot of people.
And the Grand Sport might be a better option for where I am right now.
If money is an object, not no object, because obviously money is money and it's difficult to get for everybody, I would go with the Grand Sport. I think it's the better value. You're going to learn a lot. And you're going to kind of look like a Z06 anyways.
So let us know. Grand Sport, Hellcat, Red Eye, manual, auto, leave a comment.
Subscribe, notification bell, Patreon, YouTube membership.
Teespring.
Get a Corvette shirt.